So our next presenter is Birgitta Allakare. She's a psychiatrist and a family therapist from Tornio in northern Finland. She's one of the pioneers at the Keropudas Mental Health Hospital. Yes, welcome, Birgitta.
Thank you. It's very interesting to be here now, and I would like to talk about our work in Western Lapland and how I would like to tell about my own understanding the need of neuroleptic medication on antidepressive medication and how to prescribe medication if somebody is needed. And also something about our treatment model. There you can see Tornio is Western Lapland, and I have worked there over 30 years. And I'm happy I could work also in the hospital and also in outpatient settings. And I was chief psychiatrist, so I could take responsibility of my patient also when they go to the hospital. Maybe Western Lapland is better known as a place where open dialogue approach was developed, and all of our staff members were developing that approach. It was made together. In early 80s, when I began my career in psychiatry, our hospital was very big, and it was so-called B hospital in Finland. All our patients were chronic schizophrenic patients, and they had a very heavy medication, very much antipsychotic medication, at least 2 different ones. And of course they had side effects, and we gave also some medication against them. And as I heard Sami said about diagnosis and medication, something I would like to say also same way. And after these 30 years, I still not know what is the diagnosis, the right diagnosis when I meet the patient. And if I know the right diagnosis, it is so that I should say what is the right treatment, right medication. But when I meet the patients, the diagnosis, I have to say that the diagnosis changes all the time, according to ESD, ICD-10. And it changes when we are in relationship with the patients. In traditional psychiatry, I think the psychiatrist is some kind of medical authority. Nobody asks about his recommendations or prescriptions, and they are not doubtful. So the medication or the need of the medication, it has not been discussed together. The family and the patient and the other people around the patient, also the other staff members of professionals, they trust the doctor. So, but they have also many kind of fears, but also some kind of hope of miracle, that medication can help or make some kind of miracle. And also the psychiatrist prescribes medication according his own training. In that way, the medication is not integrated to the whole treatment process. It is only one different separate part of the treatment. And if you prescribe the medication in the first beginning, it can happen so that the medication is the most important issue during the whole treatment. How does the medication affect? Is it too much? It is too low. All people look, symptoms disappeared. So that the medication is maybe it can come the only discussion about the medication and what happens in real life. Something Sami and Olga were talking about. It is not important in the treatment. And I think that it happens if the medication is prescribed in the beginning. In our experience, we began so-called treatment meetings in 1984, and also the medication was discussed in those meetings. I think that the most important, the whole psychiatric in our region was this API project during 1992 to 1993, because during that project we decided to be one district. There were 6 districts in that project. 3 was so-called regions, hospitals, where the treatment was as usual, and 3 of them was where we tried to avoid hospitalization and also to avoid neuroleptic medication in the first beginning. That was very important to our psychiatrists, but also to other staff members, because it was not so big demand for neuroleptic medication in the beginning, because it is not only psychiatrists, it is also other staff members. Depends. If the patient is in the hospital, for example, nurses, they can see the patient and they can see all the symptoms the patient has, and they are very worried about, and they somehow demand the medication. That API project was national study, but we continued our study in Västerlapland, so that continued until 1997. This aim to avoid hospitalization still, and also to increase knowledge of the place of a medication. These studies were very important to our treatment model, so-called open dialogue model nowadays. Also, we had another 3rd study during the 202 to 206, and it was meant to be multi-center study, but I think our region, our district is only one which has finished it. And now one of our psychologists is doing 20 years, or maybe I should say that 25 years follow-up study about those patients who were in the treatment from 1992. Now we have had 8 interviews with those patients. We have invited also the family members to those interviews, but the patient, so-called former patients, they have wanted to come alone. Some of them have said that it's difficult to remember those times, and it is difficult to tell about them, and so they don't want family members in that situation. Also, one man said that his wife didn't want to come because she remembered so hard that time. Maybe I tell one, I have to say that young woman, she was about 20 years old when she came into our treatment. She was quite isolated and she had been at home 2 years doing nothing. She was sleeping at daytime and awake night times. In her treatment, I gave also neuroleptic medication, and she was hospitalized about 2 or 4 months after the beginning of the treatment. But in this interview, the medication didn't make any big role in her life, because the medication was stopped quite soon because she had so-called negative symptoms and she got no benefits of the medication, as we know. As psychiatrists, we know it, but usually we give also antipsychotic medication to those patients quite often. But now she was very happy to have this interview because she was unemployed, had been unemployed many years, and she wanted that we arrange a job for her. She was no any symptoms anymore for years, of course, and no treatment. Of course, I think the treatment was some years. She was in the treatment 3 or 4 years altogether. But now she said that she and her mother had decided that the depression is over. It has been over for years, and they have decided that her mother had said that you have to go to work. And our psychologist, he has not now arranged some kind of meeting with unemployment office, and she is now a cleaner. The job is only for few months, but she is very happy for it. She explained that it was very deep depression she had in those years. I have some figures about how much neuroleptic medication was prescribed. In those earlier studies, it was prescribed. It's better to say so when it was needed in 26% of cases. And I think that multi-center study in later 50% of the patient got antipsychotic medication. I think it is because those people, there were very much young people in that study, and those young people outside our district, and we couldn't get them to our follow-up. They're out of psychiatric. Maybe that's why the figures are bigger. And also, I think that in early 2000, antipsychotic medication, quetiapine, is very popular. It is prescribed in many cases against anxiety and also as a sleeping pills. And I think its effects on our receptors in many cases, I think it is quite dangerous. It is so popular. I myself prescribed neuroleptic medication and also recommended hospitalization to those patients they had negative symptoms. And as I can understand, and you of course understand, it didn't help. It was not helpful. But I think that happened because we as a team, I, myself and other team members were so frustrated. Nothing happened. If a patient was hospitalized, it was quite usual that he got antipsychotic medication after some weeks or months. Because in the hospital, I think it is quite stressful to the patient, and all the staff members when can see it is difficult to tolerate anxiety in the hospital. And all nurses, they pay attention to the symptoms and they see all kind of behavior the patient has. And the demand of medication is very big in the hospital. I would like to say something about relapses, because this is how pharmaceutical companies sell medications. When they are introducing their products, they are talking about the continuation of a medication and relapses are. But how to understand the relapse? I think that the relapse is usually a new crisis. And of course, everybody can have a new crisis. If you have been depressed and afterwards you got depression once again, you can have some crisis in your life. But I want to tell something about our open dialogue approach, how it can be helpful and how it can decrease the need of medication. Because if the patient and the family can get help very easily and quickly, the situation is not so severe, not so chronic, and there are many possibilities to change and think another way. And people, they have not decided that this is a disease. It is something what is happening in their lives. And the network is always very important. They are eager to help and they have new explanations and their understanding about the situation is very important. Flexibility and mobility, as we see our patients at home settings, we can see their empowerment when we see them in their own environment. Responsibility, if the same team and the same doctor, same psychiatrist is responsible during the whole treatment process, also the doctor can understand more and see what is happening, and he can trust to the process more. And this is something I would like to change in our psychiatric system, because in that 20 years follow-up, our psychologist found if there are many doctors, the patient got many medications, more medication than if there was only one psychiatrist. And I think that it is quite easy to change this, at least in our region, because it is small district. And we have no so many doctors. The same doctor can follow during the whole treatment process, also if a patient goes to the hospital. And tolerance of uncertainty, to give time to spontaneous recovery and also trust to the team work is very important. Dialogue, everything is discussed together. Also in those treatment meetings, also the medication is discussed. But I hope that it is not most important issue. It is only one issue now and then. And if the medication is prescribed, it is important to discuss it and also to evaluate it and to stop the medication. But I need other staff members to those discussions. This is my thoughts about prescribing the medication. All the time I find it more important to discuss about the medication, what kind of feelings, what kind of fears, what kind of hopes the people have about the medication. And I need that case-specific team to that discussion. In our district, in our psychiatry, I have said that no psychiatrist is allowed to meet the patient alone. There has to be some member from a case-specific team. So that also the discussion about the medication is much more easier with a nurse or psychologist. She can ask why I'm thinking about medication, why I'm recommending it, how long, what side effects, that kind of questions. And also the family members and the patient can ask also those questions. But I think for them it is easier to ask when there are somebody else also asking. If I prescribe medication, it is important why I am doing it. Also family members, they should know why their relative is taking some medication. And low doses and not for a long time to evaluate it. This was most important for this meeting, how to get off a medication. All psychiatric medication, they affect too many receptors in our brains. And our brains are very wise and flexible. They try to adapt to changes. So the consequence, for example, when somebody is taking antipsychotic medication, the dopamine receptors are increasing in our brains. And after some time, we have much more receptors than before the medication. And if somebody stops antipsychotic medication very quickly, you got some kind of brainstorm. Maybe it can cause hallucination or some kind of other symptoms. And it is not a relapse. It is because of withdrawal of a medication. So that it is important to stop medication very slowly so that our brains can adapt to new situation. It can take 2 years or 4 years. I have many examples. I have met many patients, and usually it takes quite a long time. It takes also a long time because in some cases I have recommended earlier stopping the medication or withdrawal of the medication. But the patient and the family, they are afraid. One young man, he had medication, I think it almost over 1 year. He was so afraid to stop the medication that in the end of the medication he took only very small amount of antipsychotic medication once a week. It is no sense, but it was important to him. And he could stop the medication that way. And also, I remember young men. And so the family members, they are afraid of stopping the medication. I should stop now, but okay, thank you.